welcome to another episode of BAM Weekly. That's Boris and Matt Weekly, the show where we chat some sports, the show where we chat some entertainment, and then at the end we bring it all together to chat some sports entertainment. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour! How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well. Boris, nice to see you, big homie, back in Ontario, on-terrible, as it's known in some circles. We have a lot to get to today, but before we do, man, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing really good. Crazy week. I got so much R&R done. Unfortunately, my ankle is still beat up, but I think it's starting to get better. So that's a good thing. But yeah, no, honestly, the week was really relaxing. I tried to do as little as humanly possible. And, I just want to thank everyone for putting up with, with shows coming in late. I think everyone's been a little busy over the past little bit, with summer vacations and jobs and this and that. But it's just want to thank everyone for chilling, for being patient. We'll get you all the content because over the next few weeks there is so much going on. So this is kind of like the calm before the storm, because it's even starting this weekend. We have Slammiversary to cover. Next weekend is Forbidden Door. Weekend after that is Money in the Bank. And then just the hits keep coming and coming and coming.
Yeah, G1 starting. We're going to try to review the whole G1 on this program, BAM.
Yep.
And,
we'll talk about,
just living life. It's summer, man.
Well, yeah, we'll talk a little about how we're going to cover the G1 a little later when we get to that part in the wrestling portion. But yeah, man, on top of everything, it is summer. And here in Ontario, it's been a beautiful summer so far.
We've been blessed, absolutely. Yeah, it's nice right now. They just showed the Jays are about to start. They just showed the sun kind of going down over top of the Sky Dome, not the Rogers Center, the Sky Dome, and a little view of CN Tower in there. It's a beautiful night in Toronto, man. Yeah, and it's been a great summer so far, and summer hasn't even technically started yet.
Yep, exactly. It's been great. It's honestly been great, but last night, so I gotta tell you a story. This is a funny story. I've been meaning to tell you all day, but I figured I'll tell you, knowing that we're gonna record BAM. It's a pretty funny one because it does kind of tie into SNME and all that other stuff. So last night, ended up meeting with the lady friend for a little bit. Went to a bar in the Toronto neighborhood, and we're just hanging out, have a conversation. But as soon as I saw someone walk in, I noticed that they're just kind of staring here and there. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I honest to God thought that they were staring at her. Whatever. Bro.
Right.
Bro being bro. Do your thing. And she gets up. She goes to the bathroom. And right away, dude just looks at me. And he's like, nice SCU shirt.
Oh, nice. So you were rocking, classic Boris move, rocking the wrestling tee in public?
Yep, always. I'm just 99% of the time I'm wearing a wrestling t-shirt. So the guy starts chatting with me. We're kind of chatting. And believe it or not, he listens to SNME on the radio.
Oh, nice. Terrestrial radio listener. That's dope, man. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, and it's funny because I can see someone else kind of trying to listen into our wrestling conversation, from kind of eavesdropping, and it is kind of funny just because we're chatting a little wrestling, especially with the news from yesterday. We were kind of chatting Forbidden Door, we were chatting some Dominion, and all of this while she's away in the bathroom. So of course, when she comes back, she sees me chatting with someone, and that's when the whole SNME part came up. So it's the timing of it could not have been more perfect. So this person talked about, how awesome, the quote unquote new generation, the new blood has been doing with SNME. So, I kind of thanked them for that. And I could just see Lady Friend's face, just shut up.
Just Boris's head just inflating. No, I love it though. You got to look cool, perfect timing as she comes back from the bathroom. That's great, man. Yeah. Good story.
Yeah. So then we go to another place. This is more of a cocktail bar. I'm just sitting, having a conversation. Of course, she gets up, goes to the bathroom, and then for some reason I just I started talking to this random chick. The only reason I started talking to her was because she had like a full on brief travel luggage set, right? So it's like, whoa, where are you coming from? And she's like, well, my flight got delayed 24 hours, so I'm in Toronto for the day, and I just wanted to take in the sights. She's originally from the West Coast, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this person isn't unattractive to boot. On top of it all, right? So we're just exchanging pleasantries. She likes traveling a lot. I've done a lot of traveling. I love to travel. So we're just talking about airport delays and all this. Of course, when the lady friend comes back, I am talking to this random chick. She just instantly sits down and introduces herself to this person.
Nice. Just can't leave this guy alone for 2 minutes. Exactly. He's too damn social.
Exactly. Every single time that she went to the bathroom, which is I think 3 in total, I was having a conversation with someone new.
That's hilarious, man. You're a social butterfly. I love it, Boris. That's how we met.
I'm actually not. I'm
well, you kind of are.
I don't think I am. I'm one of those introverted extroverts.
I feel you. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. You can go both ways depending on your mood or whatever, what's going on in your life. Sometimes the weather and shit too, you know what I mean? On a sunny day in the summer, it's way easier to be friendly and to be jovial and to reach out to people and shit. But yeah, man, I feel you. That's good, man. Glad you had a good night. I had a good weekend too. Life is good. It's it's a beautiful day.
Yeah. What did you get up to this weekend? We haven't really talked too much.
No, yeah, true. Well, there was a UFC on, so that was pretty good. I watched a little bit of that, and then I went out to see some old friends. My friend who moved to Australia actually to be an architect, which is pretty crazy. He's back in town for a month or two. So
name Art Vandelay.
It is Art Vandelay, yes. No, so we went out to Sneaky D's, of course, grabbed a few pints, and then ended up at a couple other bars. I walked home in the rain. That wasn't so fun, but the night was great. Had a good time. I saw some friends from high school and stuff too, and it's cool to see some old friends from high school and just you don't realize, because you spend 10, 15 years apart in the case of this one friend, but you don't realize how much you have in common with these people, so it's nice to catch up and stuff. So yeah, that was a good thing. And also I got this roast coming up, Boris. I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to absolutely tear the Pittsburgh Steelers in half. Can't wait for that. Father's Day, June 19th, Trash Talk Comedy Bar.
Yep. That's awesome. I'm pretty excited for that because if there's anything the Pittsburgh Steelers are good at is getting, anyways, I can go on, but I'm not going to. Too much. Where do you even start with Pittsburgh, right?
Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't want to give away my set. We'll just leave it at that.
Exactly.
But I'm hoping to have some video out on the old social media when it's done. And yeah, man, I'm very excited. No shortage of material, in my opinion. So should be good.
That's awesome. Yeah. So it feels weird being back. I wasn't even gone for too long, but when you record so many shows in a short amount of time, right? It's kind of being weird being back in this general area.
Yeah, back in the cave, in the ring. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's gonna be cool, man. We have so much to get to on this episode. So you know what? Let's not waste any more time. We have tons of sports to chat about. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with not breaking news, but semi-big news that came out today. Toronto Blue Jays left-handed pitcher Hyun-Jin Ryu, expected to miss the rest of the season, Boris. He might miss even more than just one season. Might be getting Tommy John surgery, which is usually 18 months. Bad news.
Yeah,
Jays losing an important player.
Hugely bad. And I just feel like his whole Toronto run has been, dare I say, a bust. So much so. It's been a bust. What really sucks is for someone who was struggling already, and I know like injuries, right? He's always struggled with injuries for most of his tenure here in Toronto. But number one, not only do I think that this might be the end of Ryu in Toronto, but it might be the end of Ryu in the MLB. I can honestly see him going back to Japan where he can kind of still be a high caliber pitcher without, ruining his arm.
Yeah, you might be right, man. That's it's disappointing, but Tommy John is a serious thing. Yeah, it could be that he's pitched his last game as a Toronto Blue Jay. I don't know if that happens. I guess it's been a bust, but I don't know that you could qualify it as a huge bust. But man, if his career's over, if he never pitches another game as a Toronto Blue Jay, then yeah, I guess you're right. I just guess mathematically you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's missed so much time, and on top of it all, his first season here in 2020, he didn't even get to play in Toronto. So it's kind of like it's really sucked. True. It's really sucked. But this is the situation that we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we had to start with that. But other than that, the Jays are doing pretty well right now. They've righted the ship from a little stumble at the very start of the season. Baseball is so long where we are not even really close to halfway through the season yet. It's baseball games all throughout the entire summer, which, as we've already stated, breaking news, the summer has yet to begin. Anyway, exactly. So yeah, lots of baseball remaining, but that's a tough blow. Thankfully, the season is still young. Lots of time for the Jays to find a new starting pitcher.
Yep, exactly. Now, here's the thing. Jason Agnew sent me a little something earlier. And I'm taking a look at this thing again because I do believe that he was announced that the player of the week in AAA was Joe Piagini.
Oh, wow. No way.
I think it's time to call him back up.
Old flame. Yeah, bring him back. Of course, he was player of the week. He's hot. Let's do it. Now, strike while that iron's hot. Now or never.
Yep. In AAA, 2.08 ERA, 0.23 whip, and 0.071 batting average against them.
Wow. Yeah, that's very, very good. Like, strike while the iron's hot, bring them up right away. Yeah, the Jays now have a sizable hole in the starting pitching rotation, so that sucks.
No, not necessarily. I think, if anything, Strickland has proven that at least right now, yes, he had two. He faced the White Sox and he faced Kansas City. So, okay. Not the hardest oppositions, but give him a
White
chance.
Sox are good.
Yeah, they're okay. Give him the starting role for now. So if anything, right now we need to find a relief pitcher. So who better than Joe Biagini?
It's a great call, man. Let's do my pro Biagini agenda has been clear for some time.
Yeah, it has been. Sorry, I'm still taking a look at his numbers. I honestly think that he's
just oogling his numbers.
I am. I'm oogling. Some people oogle at porn. I oogle at pitching stats.
Biagini's AAA stats through fucking 15 games of the 2022 season. I love it. Yeah. All right, let's quickly move on to hockey. Another little small breaking news. Bruce Cassidy, who was unceremoniously fired from Boston, shockingly, has already been hired by your boys, the Vegas Golden Knights. He is now driving that ship. Boris, quick thoughts on that.
Great pickup for Vegas. I think he's a great coach. I think he got a really shit deal in Boston with an aging group and an aging group who probably doesn't want to listen to a coach. So I think that he's going to be a great position in Vegas. I think he's going to really kind of steer the ship properly in the right direction. Look, they didn't have a horrible season. Them having a bad season meant them not making the playoffs, right? Like let's remember that. Let's put that into perspective. So I think this is a great call for him.
Yeah, a million trillion % agree. It's a match made in heaven for both sides. And yeah, I think Peter DeBoer is the most overrated coach. The way you feel about like Dave Roberts maybe in baseball, I feel about Peter DeBoer in hockey, who was the coach of the Vegas Golden Knights most recently. So I think this is a humongous upgrade at coach for Vegas, and I think they're a playoff team next year again, if Jack Eichel gets right, especially.
Yeah. Which I'm just praying for him too. I just want him to just give it to Buffalo, right? Like,
yeah, fuck Buffalo. I agree. Moving on to the Stanley Cup Final. As you predicted at the start of the season, Boris, hats off to you. This was your final at the start of the year. We both had the same Final Four at the start of the playoffs, and we got 3 out of the 4 teams. We both missed on Calgary. Edmonton made it instead, but we got Lightning versus Rangers and Colorado. We're at the Stanley Cup Final. Tampa Bay Lightning, 2-time defending champions, versus the Colorado Avalanche, arguably the best team on paper. This is the final we all wanted. This is really good stuff right here. Tampa's hardest opponent in the final, because God bless Montreal. They weren't that team last year, and they also beat Dallas to win their first cup. Tampa did, and I think Colorado's much better than both of those teams. So are you backing off your Avalanche, or are you sticking with Colorado?
I'm sticking with Colorado. Colorado's going to win this series in 6 games.
6 games. Interesting. This is, it's so tough to call. We both said Colorado, so I'm not going to bail off of them now. But Tampa Bay is a juggernaut, man. It would not shock me to see the Lightning hoist for a 3rd straight time, establish themselves as a dynasty. But regardless, I'm in that hockey pool. I'm still hanging in there. I'm down a little bit, but I have a lot of Tampa Bay players and some Avalanche. So really, I'm just cheering for a 7-game series, high-scoring games. Get me the win in my hockey pool.
Yep, there you go. There you go. That's I love that. That's how you base your allegiance in sports.
That's what I really want. What did I say on the podcast before, and what do I stand to make money on? That is my true allegiance in sports. So go Colorado, 7-game series, 7-6 every game.
You know what? It's going to be a high-scoring series, I think, regardless. So I think it's going to be a very fun series. I think that, honestly, Colorado just has so much to prove right now. Win it for Kadri. I think it's going to be a great finals, because this playoff series, like this postseason, has just been so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. It's been the best one in years.
100%. And we're gearing up for a great offseason in the NHL too. So hockey's peaking right now a little bit. The X factor here, as always, is definitely the Tampa Bay goalie, like the best in the world, and he has been for a while. Vasilevsky is untouchable, and if he stands on his head, Tampa Bay will win the Stanley Cup. But Colorado is the team to challenge him. So it's a fascinating series, going to be a ton of fun. And yeah, hockey's firing right now.
Yeah, it really is firing on all cylinders, just like the Golden State Warriors.
Ironically, my friend, Steph Curry in his last game, it was the first time in his career in a playoff game that he didn't hit a single 3, and the Warriors still won by 10 points over the Boston Celtics. Is that not a death blow? That feels tough to come back from, man.
Yeah.
You have to win that game. Steph doesn't hit a 3. You have to win that game.
Yeah, well, the lady friend was talking about whatever she was talking about. I was actually watching the game, and I'm joking. And the game was on in the background. Obviously, I'm paying attention. Calm down, everyone. But yeah, last night's game was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And what did I say about like the craziest part about Golden State is that, yeah, you can put 10 players, well, 5, I guess, to block Curry. But Curry is just one guy, one great player on that team.
Yeah, absolutely. And like they got a little bit out of Clay, a little bit more out of Draymond than they have been getting. Swaggy Poole, Jordan Poole had an awesome little game. Also, Andrew Wiggins, he has been like the reason in some cases that Golden State is here at all. Like he has been so much better than anyone expected him to be. Andrew Wiggins really has showed up, and he's like an X factor for Golden State here, big time. So
yeah,
Golden State's looking really good.
People wrote him off. People honestly have been writing Wiggins off, since he got drafted. Here's the thing about Wiggins, and I think we talked about this last week or the week before. If not, this is some late-breaking, hard-hitting opinions right here, right now. That's Andrew Wiggins isn't the leader. He's not a leader. He's part of he can be part of a great supporting cast, and that's what he's proving right now in Golden State.
Not everybody is friggin' Superman or Batman. Not everybody is a superhero. Not everybody is LeBron James. Like,
someone's got to be Robin. Someone's got to be, someone's got to be, yeah. I can go.
And we use slightly insulting terms like that to explain it, but that's just the fact. Like, and there's no shame in it. And Andrew Wiggins has been like excellent excellent in this role. So I think he's finally cast with a good team in meaningful games. And like you said, not playing against the best defender, not the number one option, more of a number 3 or 4 option. And he's playing a lot of like power forward and center, getting a ton of rebounds. He's changed his game a lot. So yeah, shout out to Andrew Wiggins. And I think the Golden State Warriors might just win this series, game 6 in Boston. I actually misspoke on the midweek mic out. I said the last game was in Boston. It wasn't. It was in Golden State. This next one is in Boston. This next one is in Boston, and that's where I think Golden State will win the series.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think this is it. They're gonna close it out while they can. Don't make it a game 7. I think everyone's hearts will just go on a little extra at that point. But no, it's been a fun series. It's been a tough series, but Golden State is just too damn good right now.
Yeah, it's funny too, because I like after that game that just happened, I was like, oh, well, we'll see you game 7, you know, because it's the normal reaction. But after like sleeping on it, after really considering that Boston didn't win the game where Steph missed every 3-pointer he took, you know, like Boston still is struggling to score against this team. They didn't break 100 points. And I think it's going to be a fashionable bet. Everyone's going to expect Boston to bring it back to Golden State. Everyone's going to expect Boston to win game 6. And I think they're going to lay an egg. I don't trust these Celtics. Fuck them. No, obviously the Celtics are in the final for a reason. But yeah, Golden State to win game 6.
Yep, there you go. Heard it here 200th time before, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, we're definitely not the first ones to predict that. All right, well, I think that wraps it up for sports chat, buddy, unless you got anything else. There's some World Cup things happening. I know Australia qualified. We have some Aussie listeners. Shout out to the Socceroos. If I wasn't cheering for Canada, I would be cheering for the Socceroos. I have a soft spot for them. Who couldn't have a soft spot for them? Look at that nickname.
Any team that beats Italy in a World Cup game gets my thumb up.
I love it. Go Socceroos. Canada versus Australia World Cup final. Let's do it.
Can't imagine. No, Socceroos, best goalkeeper. Best goalkeeper out there. How can you not love that? That team is just fun, right? Like, they're fun. One thing I did want to bring up about the World Cup, and that's Canada and Canada's form. I think we didn't talk about this last week on BAM, the whole Canada CSA thing. I'm going to let it unfold a little more before we go deep into it. But yeah, I've been calling the CSA rigged motherfuckers for over a decade.
Harsh. But hey, man, well, it's not like FIFA is, you know what I mean? It's like I can see it. It's football. That's what happens at the end of the day.
Exactly. I still have my disband the CSA shirt, like screw the CSA stuff. They've been an issue in Canada. They've been hindering Canadian soccer for so many years. And it's just ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, you know, I 100% stand by the players and you know, the CSA's business decisions, you know, have Canada has done well despite them is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day. But again, once things get wrapped up, we'll give you like the full in and out news of what's going on with the CSA. But let's talk a little bit of Canada. Canada lost last night. That's Monday, June 13th to Honduras 2-1 in the CONCACAF Nations Cup. And this is, you know, I've always said it. You know that I've been saying I've been a little iffy on the Canadian midfield. Yeah, it was a rainy, shitty 90 minutes for Canada. But, you know, these are the games where you're really trying to tune up a little. We have one more international break in September to really tune up. So I'm hoping that Canada can actually figure their shit out. They look good again on Thursday against Curacao, game that I went to in Vancouver. They looked good. And the thing is, like, I know we were facing a really weak team, but these are the teams that Canada used to still struggle against and barely beat. Maybe beat 1-0, maybe beat 2-1. But they, you know, they won 4-0, which was great. But I still saw a little awkwardness in their midfield. So, you know, I hope that they fix up this midfield. I hope that they figure out what's going on in regards to coughing up the ball and turnovers. That seems to be their number one issue. And a team like Honduras just was able to capitalize on that with Canada. Again, tons of reasons why. Weather and whatnot. But, you know, let's see. Let's fix it up before November, boys.
Yeah, that's all. Just, mop up the little spill before November. Lots of time to clean up on aisle 3. But yeah, I wouldn't panic, but it's not ideal. Not the best thing to lose to Honduras, but yeah, let's not panic yet.
No, I'm not saying panic, but I'm just saying this is still a great team. It's still a good team. I think that they will still push it to Belgium on the 23rd, and I'm just really, like I said, there's a couple things that they need to fix, and I hope that they do address those things prior to November 23rd, which is 100%. When my birthday hangover will begin.
Yes, the World Cup birthday Boris Bender.
Yep.
For the ages.
Hey, when can I honestly watch a World Cup for my birthday? So
literally it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, man. Yeah. Only this year.
It's crazy to think that the World Cup would have started on Friday if it wasn't in Qatar.
Oh wow, true. That is crazy to think. That's something I had not considered until this very moment.
Yep. So that's where we're at, man. That's where we're at. All right. I think that is the end of some sports chatter. I think it's time to move on to the sports entertainment chatter.
All right. So do you want to start by reviewing this weird ass NWA Alwayz Ready professional wrestling show live from the Knoxville Convention Center, June 11th, 2022?
Let's do it.
All right. So we complained and, bitched and moaned about the length of AEW's most recent pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. And rightfully so, I guess. What was it? 5 hours with pre-show? Yep. You know what this show was, Boris?
What was it?
It was 5 hours with pre-show. Okay, and if you're watching AEW for 5 hours, it's one thing, and it's tiring, and it could be too much. But 5 hours of an NWA show, guys.
I know, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, 1,000% even. But it's NWA just isn't our style, and I think that's what we ultimately need to remember. You and I, at least. It's not our style.
Yes.
Not for us. I know people eating this shit up like honeycomb cereal.
Well, I do like honeycombs, and I don't dislike the NWA. There were some good matches. There were some good moments, but overall, after spending 5 hours of my life, and I had to watch it in 2 chunks, watching this show, I do feel like, I think I might be done with the NWA. And when the 73rd anniversary show rolls around, if they do another women's show too, we'll probably watch that. But I might stick it to one a year. I might officially only watch the anniversary every year. Because, I don't know, I wouldn't call a single match on this great. You could talk me into the women's title match being great, actually. That might have been a great wrestling match. But other than that, just 5 hours of halfway decent to good to sometimes god awful, shockingly low rent pro wrestling, but sometimes good and sometimes not so good.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's hard, man, but like I said, it's not for us. I know people love it. It's that old school style for a lot of people, that nostalgia for some, and to each their own. But yeah, it's a tough watch for me.
Yeah, we'll try to be fair. I'll tell you what I hated, I'll tell you what I liked, and we'll go through it. So the pre-show started, lots of Black G's, BLK G's on the pre-show, but Black G's is good. He's a good speaker. I liked his performance there. Our first match was Rodney Mack versus a man named Magic Jake Dumas. He's got a shitty magician gimmick. He's a magician, but he's bad at it. And he's got an assistant, CJ, very, very attractive lady who's the star of the act. And she's basically, I don't even know. She's kind of a Sunny, but not really super heel, but she's definitely the focus. She's hitting this guy in the face because she's not really paying attention to what, she's tripping him by accident, etc. So Magic Jake Dumas, this match, I don't know, Rodney Mack, of old WWE fame versus Magic Jake Dumas, a bad wrestling match, a bad start to the pre-show. I couldn't imagine this really, enticing anyone to buy NWA Alwayz Ready, Boris.
Yeah, I can for sure see that. Unfortunately.
Yeah, so just terrible. 1 Southern wrestling, 1 cowbell out of 5 for this one. Chelsea Green promo I actually thought was very good, talking about Matt Cardona's injury vaguely, but I thought she did a good job. There was a whole Samuel Shaw thing. The former Dexter Loomis cuts a quote-unquote promo where he says almost nothing. His nickname in NWA is the Hatchet, and we will see more of Samuel Shaw later. How do you feel about Dexter Loomis in NWA?
Hey, it's great that he's in NWA because I don't have to watch him.
Fair enough. All right. So the next match, the Mortons, Ricky Morton and son Kerry Morton versus AJ Kazana and Anthony Andrews versus the ill-begotten, who are Jeremiah Plunkett and Alex Taylor, a triple threat tag team match. Another bad match, man. Just a match. We've seen a lot of these matches like in other promotions recently, and they've been awesome. AEW has had some triple threat tag team matches. NXT UK had a really good one with unique rules, which I loved. This match was just bad, man. It was bad in any era. God bless Ricky Morton, but he's very, very old, obviously. And it's just, it was, the crowd was somewhat into it. They're pushing Kerry Morton. It wasn't a total waste of time. They worked hard, but yeah, bad wrestling match. We're going to go 2 cowbells out of 5 for this one.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I feel the same about Morton as you do. It's like he's there, he's doing stuff, but sure, whatever. Yeah. There's another generational wrestler that we'll talk about later who I think we're a little biased on, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We'll talk about it. I mean, Ricky Morton was an all-time legend. He's got some incredible classic matches under his belt, and he's free to do whatever he wants in wrestling. I'm not saying retire. Kerry Morton and Ricky Morton win with the double drop kick, of course, so that was fun. So we head to the main card, Trevor Murdoch versus Aaron Stevens. So, man, weird match, not the best wrestling match. There was a scary spot here where Aaron Stevens tries to jump off the top rope, something I've never seen ever before in wrestling, and it happened twice on this show, Boris. In the main event it happened too, where Stevens tried to jump off the top rope and his boot got caught in the turnbuckle and he kind of face planted. Looked like he sold it, obviously. He sold it well, and they worked a little bit of the match around it, but it looked like he could have really fucked his knee up badly, Aaron Stevens, on that one. So Billy Corgan, you have money, fucking fix your ring, bud. But so Trevor Murdoch defeats Aaron Stevens. Not a good wrestling match, but after the match, Aaron Stevens cuts a nice promo. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I do like where the storyline's going. This match wasn't great.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Trevor Murdoch wins with the top rope bulldog. All right, moving on. NWA Women's Tag Team title, Pretty Empowered, defeats the Hex and wins the tag team title. This wasn't so bad. I think it was maybe time to change the title. The Hex have had it for the entirety, the length of the title since it's been back. So Pretty Empowered, Kenzie Page and Ella Envy. Solid match. It was like up and down, but overall I think it was like far and away the best match on the show so far. We're gonna give it 2.5 cowbells.
Nice. Always good seeing some good tag. I like the Hex personally.
Yeah, the Hex are all right. But yeah, no, I'm not saying the Hex are bad, but I do feel like it was time to change the title. It kind of feels like we're building to the Hex wrestling each other. It's going to be the breakup angle. Also of note, Ella Envy wins this match, Boris, with the play of the day, a.k.a. MVP's finishing move, a.k.a. the worst finishing move in all of wrestling. God bless MVP and Ella Envy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the show picked up a lot here. This next little stretch was good. Homicide versus PJ Hawks for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship. Homicide wins. A really good match. Far and away the best thing on the show so far. It was a good technical in-ring, hard-hitting affair. Homicide wins with the Cop Killer, a.k.a. the Vertebreaker.
Yeah, that's every time I see that move, I still cringe.
Oh my God, it's disgusting. The most dangerous move in all of professional wrestling is the Vertebreaker. 3 cowbells out of 5 for this one. Solid match, best on the show so far. Got even better when Colby Carino came in, and after a beatdown, his cronies came out, beat the crap out of everyone involved, and then Colby Carino cashes in his championship shot from the dreadful championship series, Boris, which was a waste of everyone's time. But there are still championship series shots out there. So Colby Carino cashed his in. I'd love to see who still has theirs. I have absolutely no idea. There's got to be a couple left. But yeah, so Colby cashes in, and Homicide beats the crap out of him. Now, it was a really good, more of a street fight style. They went into the crowd. They fought up by the entranceway. This was probably, in my opinion, the match of the show. I would also hear an argument for the women's title match, but I thought this was very good, on the border of great. And Homicide wins yet again with... I believe he used a submission. Yes, it was the Guido clutch here in my notes. So it was not a submission. It was like the camel clutch thing that it starts as a camel clutch, but then he pushes his opponent's head down into a pinning position, and that is how he won.
Yeah. It's really not looking like Kobe's going to win the belt, is he?
Eventually he will. I think he will. I think it's long-term storytelling. You know, you can't just give it to him right away, because then there's nowhere to go. But yeah, I do think eventually Colby will win it and hold it as a heel. But yeah, his time, it's just not quite his time. According to Billy Corgan, I would have this belt on him. I'd have the NWA title on him, maybe. Like, I think Colby Carino is fantastic. Probably match of the show. 3 3/4 cowbells. Sorry, Boris, continue.
No, that's it. I just said same. We can move on.
Beautiful. Next match was straight out of TNA, like 2002-3. It was a TNA knockouts match. It was literally tits and ass and spanking and booty-based offense. Natalia Markova versus Taya Valkyrie, the former Frankie Monet. Thick girl match, Boris. I was here for it. You know, I'm not complaining so much. They worked hard. They did what they were tasked with. But at the same time, it was some bullshit. It was a bullshit wrestling match. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Let's call a spade, right?
Yeah, they were spanking each other. I mean, come on, 2 out of 5 to be generous. They're still talented performers, but it was the piss break match. It was literally the TNA match, literally and figuratively, because it was straight out of TNA wrestling from the 2002 to 5 era.
There you go. All right.
All right, this next match, I could see people hating. I actually kind of enjoyed it on this show, but like I would have enjoyed it a lot more on a 2-hour show or a 3-hour show. Jax Dane versus Chris Adonis for the NWA National Championship. Very like old school, like an 80s wrestling match. There was like, they did a full Master Lock challenge, a full ass one, lots of stalling, but it was very entertaining. At the end of the day, Jax Dane beat Chris Adonis, which I was actually shocked by. But I guess Chris Adonis has already had this title, so they're kind of telling that story. So yeah, Jax Dane defeats Chris Adonis with a lariat. Halfway decent match. I would go as high as 3 cowbells out of 5 for this one.
Very cool. Very cool. I like Chris Adonis, but yeah, I think his time is kind of starting to get near.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. And this is where the show started going back downhill. This is where it started becoming a long episode of NWA Power. Tom Latimer versus Scion, the Masked Man, with Austin Idol as his manager. Just like felt longer than it was, just your average kind of plodding big guy versus big guy match. We're going to go with another 2 cowbells out of 5. Thom Latimer wins with his pop-up power bomb. Not a patch on Kevin Owens. Is Thom Latimer.
Love it.
World Television Championship. God damn it. Why is Tyrus still employed? Tyrus with Black G's versus Mims. Tyrus wins a match that was even worse than the fake magician match. Like, Tyrus is just wrestling death, man. He's just terrible. And part of the reason why I want to quit watching NWA is I just don't want to watch this guy work. I just don't want to watch a 15-minute Tyrus match. Yep. One of the worst matches I've seen all year. Everything he does sucks. Everything he does is slow. If you thought the Funkasaurus was bad 10 years ago, imagine him caring less, being less athletic, and getting pushed significantly harder. It's terrible. It's god-awful. 0 stars, negative stars maybe. I don't know. 0 time for this. Tyrus wins because of course. and then he tries to shake his opponent's hand and then hits him again, making his opponent look like an idiot. Poor Matthew Mims. You deserved better than this. A bullshit match. Bullshit. Just my rating, I'm not even putting a number on it. My rating is bullshit out of 5.
I love it.
Call it 0.
I love it.
All right, show picked up a little bit, but honestly, the crowd was murdered dead by Tyrus, and they kind of ended the show abruptly there. So this next match was the NWA World Tag Titles, Doug Williams and Harry Smith versus Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666. They tried really hard. Crowd didn't give a fuck about this match because they were murdered, like I said in the previous segment, but the 4 people worked really hard. I like the Commonwealth connection, Doug Williams and Harry Smith, as a old ass British man team. Kind of reminds me of a poor man's William Regal and Dave Taylor back in the day.
Yes.
A very poor man's. But yeah, so this was a good match with a crowd that they had to fight the entire time. But the Commonwealth connection win the title with a Davey Boy Smith Jr. diving headbutt, I believe was the finish there. New tag team champions in the NWA. Good match. 3 cowbells out of 5.
Yeah, cool. That's very cool. I knew they were going to get the belts eventually, so it's that they just bit the bullet, put it on them now. Let's see what happens. Wonder who their first opponents are going to be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe they can get the Briscoes back in there and have a match or two that could be fun. So at this point in the show, one good thing they did was they replaced Velvet Sky on commentary with Bully Ray for the rest of the night. I'm not the hugest Bully Ray fan. I don't hate him like some people do. He's all right, but he was really good on commentary on this night, especially compared to Velvet Sky, who, God bless her, might be the worst commentator in all of professional wrestling. I know she's bad. Yeah, Anywho. Bad. So Camille versus Kylan King for the NWA Women's title. Also, extremely, very, very good match. Hard fought. They beat the crap out of each other. The story of this match, Camille has been on her honeymoon, living life, enjoying the champion's spoils, Boris. And Kylan King has been working hard. This is the most important moment of her life. And Camille's overlooking her, and Kylan's here to shock her. And they had a really good match. Bully Ray was instrumental in training these women, I guess. So it was really nice to hear Bully on commentary. And overall, this was like a feel-good match. Camille ekes it out, wins a hard-fought battle with a spear, her finisher. And Kylan King might be the one to take this title off Camille long-term. This was a very good match as well. As good as Colby versus Homicide. 3 3/4 cowbells for this big homie.
Nice. I like seeing Camille because I remember when I started watching her, she was... honestly, no better than Jade Cargill.
Yeah, you know what? She's improved a lot, but as has Jade. When these people are working hard and they're improving in front of our eyes.
Yep, exactly. I love to see that, like that improvement, that forward progression in some of these people. Like, you know, it just gets to me when people start talking shit about some of these wrestlers. It's like, you get your ass in the ring. Like you fucking try it for a second, you know, and then seeing especially how committed some of these people are, especially Camille and Jade Cargill. You know they're super committed. So, you know, it's a feel good story at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's why it bugs me. Like, oh, Kenny Omega sucks. Like, get out of here. Like, no, he doesn't. He obviously doesn't. Anyway, I agree with you. Wrestlers deserve our respect all across the board, unless their names are Tyrus. Matt Cardona promo that went inexcusably long during this 5-hour show, but I do like Matt Cardona's work a lot. I thought he did well. It's just the crowd was asleep, unfortunately. Chelsea Green came out looking really good. The Cardonas, the whole shebang, the whole crew come out. Matt Cardona does officially relinquish the NWA title. It's really funny. He looked at Chelsea Green holding the title. He says, "I love you. Do I have to give you up?" And then Chelsea notices that he's talking to the title and not Chelsea. She kind of gives him a look. It was a pretty fun moment in this promo. Quite enjoyed it. So Billy Corgan comes out and doesn't talk on the microphone, but he speaks to Cardona on camera for like 4 or 5 minutes, just like blah, blah, blah. I guess as though it was real, but like it's not. So you could pick up a microphone. If you're going to come out, Billy, if you're going to be Vince McMahon, you might as well at least try to entertain the people instead of just quietly being in a ring for a couple minutes. Just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So anyway, this all sets up a fatal four-way. All these people come out. It's a 20-minute Raw promo at the end of a 4-hour pay-per-view with a 1-hour pre-show. A terrible idea booking-wise. This should have started the show, in my opinion. But anyway, so we get a fatal four-way for the NWA title, which had just been vacated.
So I have to ask you, hold on, before we move forward, I have to ask you, how do you feel Billy Corgan and the NWA treated this? How do you think they handled the situation? Because there was no secret that Cardona wasn't going to wrestle. Do you think that it was kind of sneaky of them? Do you think it was carny of them to kind of, still be promoting the heavyweight match as it was going to happen?
Inarguably, yes. Yeah, it was a carny move. It was a sneaky move. Now, like you said, it was no secret. So it would have been way worse in 1985. You know what I mean? I don't think it's terribly egregious because it was very clear on through every channel, including like social media, that like their own social media, like NWA's and the performers, that like something was going on with Matt Cardona and he may not wrestle here. And he did show up. He did relinquish the title. I don't know. You could argue like Shawn Michaels losing his smile was worse than this. Like, I don't think it was the most egregious thing that's ever happened in wrestling, but was it shady? Yes. Was it carny? Oh yes. Very much so. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about the match itself.
Trevor Murdoch versus Nick Aldis versus Thom Latimer, your boy, Boris, and Dexter Lumis, Samuel Shaw, the Hatchet. So again, those names, Trevor Murdoch, Nick Aldis, Thom Latimer, Samuel Shaw. It was a little better than I thought it was going to be, considering the name's probably better than it had any right to be. Samuel Shaw, very much still Dexter Lumis, doing all the same Dexter Lumis spots. He hasn't changed a lick. Looks the same. It's just Dexter Lumis in NWA right now. So, they have a solid, I would say, 3 cowbell match. Not in the top 3 best things on the show, but not bad at all. One after Nick Aldis, I forget what he did. He knocked Thom Latimer off the apron with some kind of something. And then classic Boris, your favorite thing, stood there and waited for Trevor Murdoch to bulldog him off the top rope and win the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship for a second time. Trevor Murdoch, 2-time champion now.
Good for him. I'm happy for him.
Would not have been my choice. And I don't think it's necessarily exciting or very creative, but for what they want, Trevor Murdoch is a good NWA champion. Why they want that, I think, is baffling and arguable, but they want to be a small Southern wrestling promotion, so why not Trevor Murdoch, man? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Makes me wonder what the plan is for the future. Are they going to go back to an Aldis Murdoch program? What do you think?
Looks like it, man. Just like, what else do they got? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the only thing that they could go to. Winner gets Cardona again. Let's just run it back.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. So how would you rate the match?
Oh yeah, 3 cowbells out of 5 for that match. Pretty good, but didn't blow my socks off. The only things on that show worth seeing were the whole Homicide versus PJ Hawks and then Colby Carino thing, and the women's title match was also pretty good. The rest of the show was skippable, and I think officially I'm done with NWA shows, except maybe the anniversary. You can talk me into watching those, but other than that, it needs to pick up a little more steam. Like Impact, we stopped watching Impact until it got some buzz. So if NWA gets buzz, we'll be back. Until then, we're only watching the one biggest show of the year. Yep. At least me. I'm out. I'm done.
Speaking of Impact, let's move on to Impact, because this weekend is a huge weekend for Impact Wrestling. It is Slammiversary. It is the 20th anniversary of TNA. 20 fucking years.
Yeah, man. Next week on BAM, we're gonna have a little preview of a perhaps a new podcast or retro podcast coming down the line. But we're gonna do a retro look back at the first episode of TNA, and it's gonna be crazy. We're also going to review this here show. So let's go through the card for Slammiversary 2022. How did TNA last 20 years? What kind of timeline is this?
Exactly. There is a world where TNA is the #1 wrestling show in the world. Just remember that.
Terrifying.
I know.
Terrifying.
Okay. Let's run through the card for Slammiversary. The countdown to Slammer. Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt you. I actually love the gimmick of this card, which is let's use all our gimmicks. All the matches that TNA has created or come up with or fucking in a fever dream Vince Russo thought of one day, they're all on this card. So I'm actually pretty pumped for that.
Yeah, we might as well call it Slammiversary Lockdown. All the gimmicks. But can you imagine? Every match is anyways. We're, like on top of every gimmick, you're in a cage.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, so yeah.
All right. So,
let's go through it, starting with, man, honestly, the biggest news story in TNA in years. On the pre-show, the Reverse Battle Royal is back.
All right. I love the rules to this. We don't know who's going to be participating in it yet, but here are the rules. The match begins. Who thinks up on this stuff? All right. The match begins outside of the ring with everyone fighting until 7 wrestlers make it into the ring. Everyone else is eliminated at this point. The match then switches to a standard Battle Royal rules. The Battle Royal continues until there are 2 competitors left, and then we switch the match for a 3rd time. And it's now a regular match to determine the winner of the Reverse Battle Royal.
So it starts with X people all on the floor next to the ring, and they're fighting to get into the ring, to step inside the ring. Once there are 7 of all numbers people in the ring, then it's a real Battle Royal until there are 2. And then it's a wrestling match. Just insanity. Just absolutely insane. I can't wait to see it. It's been too long.
I love our excitement for this shit. All right. Also on the Countdown to Slammiversary show, we have the Impact Digital Media title match. Brian Myers, who's the versus Rich Swann.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Rich Swann, fine Impact Digital Media champion, good wrestler, like Rich Swann.
Yep. All right. To the main card, we have a Monsters Ball match. Moose versus Sami Callihan.
Monsters Ball, which is like basically TLC, all weapons allowed. But the story is that they're locked in a room, starved for 24 hours with no light or bread or water. Do they still do the starvation gimmick on Monsters Ball? So it's just a fuck now? Yeah, I remember that. I seem to remember that they don't do the locked in a room gimmick anymore. Oh, TNA. But okay, yep. Hardcore match, Sami Callihan versus Moose. That'll be fine.
All right. We have a 10-man tag team match. We have Team Honor No More, Eddie Edwards, PCO, Vincent, and my boys, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, versus the Impact Originals, Frankie Kazarian, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and 2 mystery partners.
Bring back Shark Boy, you cowards.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure one of them will be.
I hope so.
And what's Chris Daniels' alter ego?
Oh, Curry Man?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Shark Boy and Curry Man.
Those are my official predictions. All right. We have for the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team titles, Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie versus Tennille Dashwood and Madison Rayne.
Couple good Canadian gals, Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie, who could not be more different. That's an interesting pairing.
Yeah, it is a very weird one. All right. For the Impact World Tag Team titles, we have the Good Brothers versus the Briscoes.
So, I mean, on paper, I don't love the Good Brothers, but apparently they had a pretty good segment, a fight on the farm with the Briscoes and the Good Brothers recently. So, we'll give it a chance. Yep.
They did have a pretty good segment a little while ago. All right. Ultimate X. For the Impact X Division title, we have Jack Evans versus Kenny King versus Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel versus Alex Zane versus Ace Austin, your champ.
Yeah, so Ultimate X match, awesome gimmick. Nice to see Speedball in there. I think Speedball has to win the title, hold the X Division title. Never has there been a more perfect X Division champion than Speedball Mike Bailey. Give him the belt.
Yep, agreed. Queen of the Mountain match for the Impact Knockouts World title, Chelsea Green versus Deonna Purrazzo versus Mia Yim versus Jordan Grace versus your champ, our girl, Tasha Steelz with a Z.
Yes, so I actually have no idea who's going to win this match. I can see all 5 combatants winning this one. It will be interesting. Queen of the Mountain, first ever. The penalty box in wrestling. I love it.
Mickie James is the special guest enforcer, and I have a feeling she is going to go heel to help one of the women win.
Oh, interesting. I can see it.
Yeah, I can see that happening. And then your Impact World title match, Eric Young versus Josh Alexander.
Gotta have an original or at least like a TNA kind of lifer in there. It'd be nice if it could be, we love Eric Young here. Good Canadian boy versus good Canadian boy in the main event. It'd be nice if it could be AJ Styles or something. But hey, Eric Young is a worthy main eventer of this celebration of TNA history.
Yep. Hey, look. If the forbidden door was open for Mickie James, I wouldn't put it past anyone to show up at this point.
You never know. That's true, man. It's a really good point. It would be awesome to see AJ poke his head in on this show. The crowd would go insane.
Oh, fuck. I would go insane.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. Unfortunately, I can't watch that show live because I'm going to be tearing up the Pittsburgh Steelers on June 19th, but I will be watching that show. We will review on the next episode of BAM Slammiversary 2022 and the first episode of TNA from 2002.
Yep. All right, let's move on to some New Japan Pro Wrestling. Before we get to New Japan Pro Wrestling, Dominion's show from Saturday evening, Sunday morning, depends which coast you were in. Let's talk about the G1.
Yeah, so very interesting. 28 wrestlers now, man.
28 entrants, 4 blocks. Largest G1 field ever. All right, so what I'm assuming this is going to happen is we have 4 blocks. So the winner of the 4 blocks are going to then be in a tournament style the final weekend of the G1. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to get a final 4 at which point, they will wrestle each other and it will dwindle down to 2. It's probably not going to be a fatal 4-way. I would be shocked if that happened. Although we see that happening more and more in New Japan, it's not going to happen here. It will be singles matches with the 4 winners for sure. Yep. So, I guess we should read off all the name.
Yeah. Well, let's go through the list and then get our opinions on this because there's been a lot of opinions thrown out there. So let's get to it. We have David Finlay from AEW, Lance Archer. We have Zack Sabre Jr., Tai Chi, El Phantasmo, Kenta, Jay White, Sonata, Aaron Hinari, Will Ospreay, Great-O-Khan, Jeff Cobb, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, Jonah, Juice Robinson, Tom frickin' Lawler. So happy about that. Evil, Yujiro Takahashi, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owen, Shingo Takagi, Tama Tonga, Hiroki Goto, Tetsuya Naito, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Kazuchika Okada.
So here's how I think the brackets will shake down, and maybe I'm completely off base on this and just crazy, but I think we're going to have 3 Gaijins make the final 4 and Okada. So I think we're going to get Okada, Zack Sabre Jr., Jay White, and Will Ospreay. And Okada wins the G1 yet again. Okada's going to beat, I'm going to say, Jay White in the final and Ospreay night 1. And he beats Will Ospreay, beats Jay White, and sets up Wrestle Kingdom where he reclaims the title again.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I think we have the exact same scenario built up in our minds. But so I think that's going to happen. Because it gives Okada the chance to take some time after G1 until basically King of Pro Wrestling in October. And I guess the next appearance after that really won't have to be until Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Theoretically, you might not have to be. Shout out to Paul York, our boy Yorkie, birthday boy Paul York, actually at this moment. Sadly, I don't think anymore it's going to be Zack Sabre Jr. winning the G1. If Okada needed an opponent, maybe. But Jay White needs an opponent, so it's Okada. You know what I mean? I don't think Jay White's going to be wrestling Zack Sabre Jr., unfortunately, at Wrestle Kingdom.
So here's the thing. I've been seeing a lot of negative opinions about this. New Japan doesn't care about the G1. They're phoning it in. Why so many wrestlers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Honestly, I've seen so many negative opinions thrown at you.
Terrible thing.
Okay, but here's the thing. Let's be honest. What did you think was going to happen? You think John Moxley is going to be going missing for a month and a half? You think that Tony Khan is just going to willy-nilly give up huge stars like Moxley or others for a month and a half?
I actually do think like it wouldn't shock me to see next year Danielson or Moxley or both or more. Like, yeah, I don't think that's crazy, man. I think a big reason why it's maybe not Moxley because he's about to win the world title. They maybe not are going to give up their world champion. The only reason why Bryan Danielson isn't in this is because fans can't clap yet. And it's the first year of this new, you know what I mean? Like this new scenario with the 4 blocks. It could be a down year for the G1. I don't think it's quite Bryan Danielson's time, but I think a big part of why he signed with AEW was specifically to do this tournament. I think he wants fans to be able to cheer and stuff. I think that's probably a big part of it too.
No, but again, Tony Khan's not an idiot. He's not going to give up a wrestler for a month and a half. Here's the thing. Here's the scenario that I can see happening next year. 4 blocks, at least 1 block is going to be All-American. And it's going to take place entirely in the States.
Maybe. I could see that, but that kind of defeats the purpose.
I can see Tony Khan giving up his guys because they can still do Dynamite. They can still do Rampages. You know, you're building up to All Out throughout July. So that's a huge ask for the promoter of a huge wrestling company to just give people up willy-nilly. So if it takes place in the States, at least 1 block, you know, I think I can honestly see that being a more realistic compromise between all parties.
That's you might be right, man. That's actually a really intelligent scenario that you laid out. But I just disagree that Tony wouldn't send Bryan Danielson over for 6 weeks.
I would not send out any like major wrestlers for a month and a half when you're still being expected to get good ratings, when you're still being expected to deliver for the pay-per-view, when you're still expected to do XYZ. It would be really dumb of him, in my opinion. It doesn't even grow your brand.
I disagree massively with the fact that it would be dumb and that it doesn't grow your brand. I think that's crazy. Of course it would grow your brand.
Maybe only a couple more Japanese views. How's it going to grow the brand domestically? That's what matters the most. Get the ratings for TNT, for TBS.
It absolutely could by showcasing Bryan Danielson in some awesome dream matches that you could show on TV. You could put one on Dark. You could put one on the actual Rampage show or on the actual Dynamite show. Show clips of it at least. You're getting Bryan Danielson in possibly dream matches. Bryan Danielson versus Okada. Bryan Danielson versus Tanahashi. Now, but maybe
your casual person watching, changing channels. Who is this Japanese guy versus this little guy? That's what they're going to be saying. Dude, it's true.
Vince Russo.
It's true. But that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
I disagree.
The G1 has it does not bring in casual viewers whatsoever for AEW.
It's literally never been tried. It has literally never once been tried. So I don't think we could say that. But man, I don't know. It's just like I don't think they let Lance Archer go. Right?
Yeah,
obviously Lance Archer's not a world champion, but
what's he doing right now?
So that's what I mean. You can have Bryan Danielson step away for 6 weeks.
Dude, are you honestly comparing Bryan Danielson and Lance Archer? Are you saying that they're at the same level for AEW?
Absolutely the fuck not. Nor did I even begin to intimate that. No, of course that's fucking incredibly
dumb. The way you said that, you're like, oh, they gave up Lance Archer so they can give away Bryan Danielson.
Well, I'm just saying they can easily let someone go for 6 weeks. It would not hurt AEW at all to lose Bryan Danielson for 6 weeks while he went to Japan and tore it up against Tanahashi and Okada. I don't see how you couldn't think that could easily help Danielson and AEW and
only
everyone.
If it's in the States. Only if something happens in the States. I honestly just do not see a scenario.
Okay, Vince Russo.
No, I just don't see a scenario where they're going to willy-nilly just completely give someone up for so long.
Except for Lance Archer.
Well, who's Lance Archer?
Who is Kareem Garcia?
But like realistically, like Lance Archer is a huge, like when they were announcing the names, Lance Archer got a huge pop, like because of his Suzuki-gun allegiance and all that stuff, right? So it kind of makes sense in that approach this year. Again, let's see what happens next year. I do think that one of the blocks, if they stick to this huge 28-man field, one of the blocks is going to take place in the States. And if that happens, sky's the limit.
That's a really good idea, though. Separate of the Bryan Danielson argument, I do think that might happen, and then boom, there's your forbidden door opened. Although that's less exciting. It'd be way more exciting if Bryan Danielson actually went to New Japan Pro Wrestling and actually wrestled their wrestlers.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that in like, I'm saying that a more likely scenario is like we're gonna get what, 6 other wrestlers, 6 possible New Japan wrestlers coming to America for one block. They can record the shows around Dominion, do special shows like they did that one in Dallas a few years ago to kick off the G1.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyways, we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's been a lot of negativity about this. Honestly, I think this is a great field. I think the issue with the G1 at the end of the day is that it's, if you look at this from a pure booking point of view, you can kind of see where the booking's going to go. But it's the matches themselves that make it for me, right? So we're going to be getting some great matches. And I guess we don't know yet because we don't know who's in what block just yet. But I think Jonah's going to have a great one. I think Filthy Tom is just going to tear it up. He's been doing really good. Juice Robinson has a lot to prove. I think it's going to be a fine tournament.
Yeah, man, it definitely, absolutely will be. I love the new format, man. We've actually kind of called for this before talking about the G1. They should add players, add people, and split the blocks up so every match means more. Instead of having 10 matches and people are obviously eliminated pretty much right away, you have 6 matches and the stakes are higher. It's like the NFL season versus the MLB season. So yep. I think this is brilliant. I think it can only help the combatants and the actual product in the ring. I like this a lot. Yep. I think, yeah, writing it off is as like less than is a terrible take. I think it has a chance to be way more than previous G1s in terms of excitement, in terms of sports-like feel.
Yep. So I guess we're going to have to, our original plan was to each take a block. I think we're going to have to each take 2 blocks at this point.
Yeah, I'm actually, at this point, I'm probably going to watch, although it's ironic, it's going to end up being more matches. I'm probably going to end up watching all of them because I am intrigued by the new format. So I don't know, maybe we won't have to delegate. Maybe we can delegate like this. Maybe I'll watch the G1 and you watch the Stardom version or vice versa.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Anyways, let us talk some Dominion. I'm gonna blow through some of these matches because, like a good old New Japan card, some of the undercard was just meh at best. Good matches, but no stakes. Nothing really mattered. All right, so let's kick things off. The first match of the night was United Empires, Aaron Henare, Francisco Akira, and TJP versus Master Wato, Taguchi, and Tenzan.
Yeah, so I did not see this show yet. I don't have much to add except for I need to see more of Francisco Akira. Like his work a lot.
Same. He's awesome. He's killing it right now. This was a pretty fun match. United Empire ends up winning after Henare locked Tenzan in a full Nelson. The next match was Bullet Club's Ace Austin, El Fantasma, and Taiji Ishimori versus Bushi, Takahashi, and Naito as LIJ went up to par here. So this match was a lot of fun. Interesting. So next weekend, or on Monday, I believe it's a Monday, the 20th, it is going to be Ishimori versus Takahashi for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight match title. Now, what's interesting is that when LIJ was coming out, it was Takahashi who kind of led the pack to the ring. He was kind of like the last guy out. It was his theme playing, and he was in the back of the pack, right? So that was kind of interesting, and I like that touch just because the entire match, they were putting over that junior heavyweight match.
Interesting. I wonder if we're going to get like a Farouk and the Rock situation where they kick Naito out of this group, or just like Takahashi officially becomes like kind of the de facto leader,
Yeah. Well, El Fantasma ends up winning this match for the Bullet Club. Ace Austin was awesome. To kick off this match, they were kind of doing this. They isolated Naito, and they were kind of doing some back rakes. But everyone from Bullet Club kind of went out of their way to make the back rake just as stupid and crazy as humanly possible, with Ace Austin just being Ace Austin playing mini Gambit. So that was kind of cool.
That is absurd.
Yeah. And then in the match that solidifies why I do not like Yano. It was Yano versus Doc Gallows. Can you imagine?
Oh my God. Oh no.
Can you imagine?
Oh, Jesus.
Yano won.
Why?
There we go. That's all I need to say.
Moving on.
Yep. Never open weight. 6-man tag team championship. Evil, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi, the House of Torture, versus El Desperado, Kanemaru, and Zack Sabre Jr. from Suzuki-gun. This match was pretty fun. I really like this match a lot. House of Torture ends up winning.
Oh, that's disappointing. Not Zack Sabre Jr. and crew.
No. So that was a lot of fun. All right, then it was the IWGP Tag Team Championships. Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb, United Empire, versus Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens. This match was all right. Jeff Cobb at one point tried to put Bad Luck Fale on a tour of the islands. That didn't go according to plan. O'Khan and Owens kind of ended the match. O'Khan gave Owens a belly-to-belly suplex. Cobb then did his tour of the islands, won the match, retained the belt, won the belts also. So that was that. After the match, though, Rocky Romero hit the ring. He beats down Great O'Khan and Cobb, but they end up destroying Rocky Romero as they kind of do poses over his body as it laid on the floor.
So they regained the tag team titles, possibly setting up a match versus FTR and maybe one or two other people.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, the interim AEW World Title Eliminator, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hiroki Goto. Man, these guys always put on a good match, in my opinion. But they're both really slowing down, man. They're both really slowing down in their years.
Well, hey, man, they've been going at it for a while. But yeah, so what I've heard about this match is actually pretty good. It was nice and short to the point. Wasn't your, perhaps you could say typical, like 28, 29 minute New Japan, which is like a quick, good 12 minutes. I've had this recommended to me, which is nice. The AEW World Title Eliminator needed some good matches here.
Yep. Tanahashi beat Goto. Tanahashi now will face Jon Moxley at Forbidden Door for the interim AEW Championship.
Shockingly, Goto will not main event that pay-per-view.
Yep, exactly. All right. In the next match, thank God it was only 10 minutes because I really don't have time for this title. And that's the King of Pro Wrestling title. It was a 10-minute unlimited pinfall scramble match. It was
I was just going to say, I think we might defer on this because I'm very excited to see this match. I liked the first one, like the pinfall scramble gimmick where it's accumulating counts of a pin as though they're like points on the board. It's just like it's kind of like a different kind of sports.
It's different, but I don't know. It just didn't. I'm not the biggest Tai Chi fan. Let's just I'm gonna throw that one out there. Yeah,
that's fair. Tai Chi's not.
Yeah, Shingo was great. This was great. So Shingo ends up winning. I like the ending because it was a Tai Chi covers Shingo's. He's going for all the points, but the clock runs out when he had one more pin to go to tie it up. So it was a saved by the belt situation for Shingo.
Nice, yeah. So I like that. Again, like the comeback victory, a little bit of sports presentation. Like I agree that the King of Pro Wrestling title is shit, but I think these like last couple Shingo accumulated pin matches have been the only good thing that have ever come out of this title.
Yeah, agreed. Keep it to this match style, right? That's, in my opinion, what they should do. I don't like the hardcore stuff. I don't like all the other gimmicks that they've done. If they're gonna do anything, just these cumulative pins is the way to go. All right. Never Seems open like heavyweight championship. You had Tama Tonga, your champ, versus Carl frickin' Anderson. Oh, this match, not the best. But it was Tama Tonga is going to have a great singles career. I'll say that much.
I think he might do it in WWE and not AEW or New Japan, honestly. But I agree. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's getting way better.
He is. He really is. Carl Anderson ends up winning. Doc hits the ring. He took a gun stun from Tamatonga. Tamatonga was distracted. Anderson dropped him with a gun stun, and he pinned him, and that's how he ends up winning the title. So that's his Carl Anderson's first singles title ever.
Wow, in New Japan. That's nice. Yep. Or just in general, maybe, too. Yeah, and the never open weight championship.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, then it was the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Juice Robinson was stripped of the title, but I love the angle that they're playing. It's pretty much I'm not giving up my title, so there was no physical title for this match. And the whole story is that Juice Robinson refuses to give up the title. So, we know where this is going. Anyways, it was Will Ospreay versus Sonata. Really, really fun match. I really enjoyed this match. One thing was Will Ospreay's coming off of an injury, a kidney infection. And this might be the first time that Will Ospreay didn't try to kill himself in a match.
Well, that's always good. That's a positive.
Yeah. So Sonata kicked out of an Oz cutter. He reversed Stormbreaker into an offensive sequence. Sonata then hit a Tiger suplex. He goes for a moonsault. Ospreay blocks it with his knees. He then hits a couple hidden blades and then a Stormbreaker to win the vacant IWGP United States Championship. After the match, Will Ospreay kept saying, "Where's my fucking belt? Where's the belt?" So I love even in victory, Will Ospreay continues the "and New Japan Pro Wrestling is screwing me" angle.
Yeah, hilarious. I love it.
Yep. And then it was main event time. Jay White versus Okada. All right. So as we all know, in Japan, it's still illegal, for lack of a better term, to cheer. You can clap, but you can't audibly cheer. The entire match saw Jay White trying so hard to get the crowd cheering. I have never seen a wrestler just shit on a crowd so much. Like everything about Jay White was just awesome in this match. He controlled the match. And as he's controlling the match for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah, Okada got a bit of offense, but dude, this was all Jay White. Like Jay White he just completely controlled most of this match. It was great. I loved this. This was like he went 40 minutes of basically beating up Okada. At the end, it kind of looked like Okada was gonna get the win. He does do a Rainmaker. But that didn't work out for him, and then Jay White eventually gets his finisher, wins the title from Okada. After the match, all of Bullet Club starts celebrating. He does get the crowd to start cheering a little bit, he basically says that he's the one who sold out MSG, and now he's selling out the United Center.
Oh, yeah. So he actually did get people to cheer. Is he going to jail? How does that work?
Who knows? Who knows?
I'm looking here, 36 minutes and 4 seconds. We have a new IWGP World Champion. Wow, and it'll be exciting to see what AEW does with this title on the Forbidden Door show.
Yeah, right. I'm hoping it's not a four-way. I don't want to see a four-way. I think Hangman and Okada can have their own great match, but I really just want to see Jay White face someone on his own.
Yeah, Jay White versus Adam Cole could be interesting for a number of reasons. I think that it makes a lot of sense. I'd like to see that too, man. I like where your head's at there.
Yeah, exactly. But it was great just because when he did win, his first thing was, screw you, Adam Page. You can have Okada all you want now.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's kind of interesting how they played it. I wonder if Tony knew and had, you know what I mean? Like Hangman Page specifically say, "I want Okada." I don't know. We're going to see. There are ways they could go with this from here.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Very good show. It sounds like I should definitely watch that match for the 122 of 2022.
Yeah, I think you should watch the IWGP World Heavyweight title. You should also watch the U.S. title match. And I think those were by far the best matches of the night, in my opinion.
Nice, man. Nice. All right. So we are going to disconnect here. I'm going to go watch NXT because it's already going on at this point. Then we're going to be back with NXT Talk tomorrow, Boris and I. And then, Boris, after watching NXT 2.0 and NWA and Raw after the last few days, I'm never watching professional wrestling again. I quit. I retire. I'm done. I hate this stuff now. No, I'm just kidding. I love wrestling. I always will, but I need a break. That's 3 mediocre ass shows in a row.
Yep, exactly. So basically until TNA, and then we're gonna get back to it. All right, so that is all for today. Thank you for listening. He's Matt. I'm Boris. Good night.
Go Warriors. Go Avalanche. Yeah.